Krishna Visvata, Vitzivanu, Lasok Bedivrei Torah, Lasok Bedivrei Torah, Lasok Bedivrei Torah, Lasok Bedivrei Torah, Lasok Bedivrei Torah. Okay, so, anything else I'm waiting?
So what's the update on the trip now?
All right, the update on the trip is Harvey's working out the last pieces. They're trying to strip us in terms of the cost of the last 3 nights. We're not going to let that happen. It will either be worked out at the right price, or we'll book the dang hotel ourselves. Okay, all they're doing that's why this takes long. Is they're adding 3 nights to it, plus bus rides from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, from Tel Aviv to the closing ceremonies, from closing ceremonies back to Tel Aviv, and then to the airport. So that's
where is the closing ceremony?
The closing ceremony is in Tel Aviv.
Oh, in Tel Aviv.
Yeah. Okay. So we move from Jerusalem on Sunday to Tel Aviv, and then on Sunday we'll probably do something on Sunday, like either go to the Shuk or go to the tomb of Maimonides, which is, how many of you have ever been to the tomb of Maimonides? Oh, it's amazing. So in this little complex, it's like the size of this whole area. There's the Rambam's tomb, and then there's other tombs from people, rabbis from the Talmud, like Yochanan ben Zakkai, people like that. So we may do that. We may go to the Shuk, whatever it is. Sunday, or so when we get there, we'll show up on Sunday night. People do whatever they want Sunday night. Monday or Sunday, we'll do whatever. We'll do something casual. Monday's closing ceremonies. Tuesday, we'll leave. And they're not adding any programming. So why would we pay more? Why would we pay their bigger? Okay, we can go get nice hotel rooms, and if you figure a $300 hotel room, and then you figure another total of $40 a person or $50 a person for the bus, that's fine to say, okay, well, we're adding $500 for 3 days. But if they're going to try and charge us $1,000 per person, that's insane. It's obscene. It's not okay. So that's where we are. Okay, and Harvey's working on that. I didn't talk to him today. I texted him, but I know that he's working on all that.
Probably get B&B's cheaper.
Well, we'll get a hotel that's like when we were in Tel Aviv earlier during the trip. We're in a hotel a couple blocks off the beach, 2 blocks off Trumbullmore Beach, so you can walk down. And there are a lot of things to do from the beach there. How many of you have been to Tel Aviv during the summertime? Okay, so you remember the beach. There's, just like here, every couple hundred yards, you have a lifeguard station. It's not a lifeguard station, it's like a cafe and stuff like that. Summer night times, they turn into dance clubs. So it's really cool to walk down to the beach, and you hear over here a couple hundred yards and here a couple hundred yards, all these kids in their 20s and 30s partying and dancing and alive. And there's nothing like
a lot of energy.
A lot of energy. It's so beautiful. Your sons are going to find their wives there. They're just going to walk down the beach.
Them that.
They can just walk down the beach and take a fishing line and go like that. And they'll catch one.
Wow.
They're amazing, gorgeous, sweet, intelligent Jewish girls. Yeah, they'll have the opportunity. Let's put it that way. All right, so we, I believe, right now, I think on the 5th of Shvat, the 5th day of the month of Shvat. So in the month of Shvat, there are 2 holidays. One of them is, there's one holiday. In Av, there's 2 holidays. In Shvat, there's a big important holiday. It's called Tu B'Shvat. 2 being the 15th day of the month. How many of you know about this holiday? Okay, in this holiday, we plant trees. It's the first ecological nature holiday. But here's what's really interesting. Would someone please read the very first... Is this the right one? Hold on. This is the right one, right, Orlando?
Yeah, this is what we studied last year.
Okay, I don't know why this line is not here.
You like 5.
Okay, it says, this is not the deal, but that's okay. So it says in the Talmud that in Masechta Rosh Hashanah, and this is in the tractate on Rosh Hashanah, it says in the beginning, there are 4 New Years in Judaism, the Jewish calendar. One of them is Rosh Hashanah. Another one is Tu B'Shvat, the New Year of the Trees. And it's a very, very special holiday. we traditionally, and this goes back to at least the Middle Ages that we know about, we do what is called a Tu B'Shvat Seder. And we'll do one again. What night are we doing that, Orlando?
Sunday.
A week from Sunday.
Yeah, February 1st.
And
So,
in this Seder, we learn from the gifts of the trees. There are everything in Judaism, when you look at a ritual, it goes back to God's holy name of 4 letters, Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey. And that corresponds to the 4 worlds, going backwards, Hey, Vav, Hey, Yud, to the Asiyah, the purely physical world, to Yetzirah, which is the world of formation, to Bria, which is the world of creation, and to Atzilut, the world of emanation. So we have all these different levels. And think of it as purely physical, physical with a little spiritual, spiritual with a little physical, and purely spiritual. And we do a Seder, which Seder just means order. And we focus on the gifts from each of those trees. Now, we'll do it in about an hour to 90 minutes max. But traditionally, it can go all night. It's like a Pesach Seder. And in this Seder, we see what the gifts of these trees are, which are their fruits, their seeds. So as an example, one type of gift from the trees are nuts. Okay? Nuts are hard on the outside and hard on the inside. So we'll think about it and meditate and discuss, when should we be hard on the outside and hard on the inside? When should we not be? So we take the gifts from these trees and we go right through them, but there are 4 glasses of wine involved. Just like Pesach, you've got to drink the whole glass, but your glass can be as small as an olive. Okay? But whatever you pour, you got to drink. And it's a very special holiday. It is, in many ways, as important as Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the birthday of the world, it's our new year. But Tu B'Shvat is the new year of the trees, which are the ultimate examples of giving in the world. It also all corresponds to Torah, which is the tree of life, it's Haim. Okay? So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to study a little bit about environmentalism in the environment, the plants, the trees, and the animals, and learn about something called Perek Shira, which, how many of you know about Perek Shira? I should have brought it with me, but I was rushing to come do a ketubah signing, so I didn't. Perek Shira is an amazing text. We're going to learn a little bit about that as well. Who wants to begin reading on the top of page 1?
God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth.
Okay, this is really important. We don't have domination. We have dominion. We are the gardeners. We are the caretakers. We are not the commanders. Does that make sense? It is our job to make the world better. And to start that is one of the very first things. To start that is the to take care of the environment, to take care of grandmother Earth, to use a different term, to take care of the trees and the plants and the animals. Does that mean we should let everything grow wild? No. It means we should be gardeners. We should prune, we should do those kinds of things. We should take care of the animals. But do the animals they have their own consciousness, their own rights, but we have dominion over them. Please continue.
And God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth. And the awe of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every bird of the air, upon all that moves upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. To your hand are they delivered. Every morning, every moving living thing that lives shall be food for you, even as the green herb have I given you all things. But flesh with its life, which its blood you shall not eat.
We're allowed to eat meat, but we're not allowed to have blood. This is why the whole anti-Semitic myth of, they make blood with matzah is absolutely insane. We are forbidden from having blood. Okay? We're not allowed to just take some animal off and cut it and eat it and have the blood. Steak tartare cannot be made kosher, no matter what you do. And dam is the word for blood. Adam is the word for human being, the first man. You can hear the Dam as the second and third letters. It is our responsibility, but look at this word. It says that the awe of you and the dread of you. So it's yirah, it's not fear, it's in awe. We should be in awe of every living thing. I never saw the show, but my friend who's a priest, Father Tree, that's actually his name, Trih. So he tells this great story that there was a show called Joan of Arcadia. Did any of you ever see it? Okay, well, Joan is Joan of Arc, but she's talking to God, and God's proving to her God, and she says, "Well, prove it." He goes, "Turn around." She goes, "Okay, it's a tree. So what?" He goes, "Yeah, let's see you do it." We don't have that ability, and we should be in awe of fruits and flowers. And children are, and we lose it, don't we? We look and we see the animals and we see the plants, and we ignore what's really going on. They are awesome, filled with awe. And this is one of the very first things we're told. Please continue reading.
A righteous man regards the life of his beast, but the heart of the wicked is cruel.
So there's some ways you can tell what kind of a human being somebody is. He seems like such a nice guy. He's always so polite, so great. You see him at home and he seems like a nice guy, but you see him kick his dog. You gonna trust that guy?
No.
Never. Someone seems like he's kind of a schmagegi. He's kind of confused, but when he's with his animals, there's love. You gonna trust him?
Yeah.
Yes. So animals are really a good way of telling that, how someone is. The other way, by the way, and this is one of the questions that Solomon is asked, but how can you see Solomon's wisdom? It's the way that he treated his servants. How do we treat those people who bring nothing to the table for us? It's the waiter. It's his job. Does that mean you can treat him like crap? No. And if someone does, what does it say about that person? Okay. I mean, I've taught my boys when we're in a hotel, they know this is one of our family rules. You see a housekeeping person, you say thank you. Because the hotel only exists, your experience is only as nice as it is because of that person who's the engineer, the people who you don't necessarily see. They're the people who really are doing work. How do you treat them? How do you treat your animals? Please continue.
Take heed to yourself that you offer not your blunt offerings in every place that you see, but only in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I command you.
Understand that in many of the cultures at this time, the ancient Hebrews, oh, I succeeded. I'm offering a burnt offering to Baal or wherever my God is. We don't do that. Specific time and place. Okay, please continue.
However, you may slaughter animals and eat their meat in all your gates for your heart's desire, according to the blessing of the Lord your God, which he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat it, as they do of the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood, you shall pour it upon the earth like water. You may not eat inside your gates the tip of your grain, or of your wine, or of your oil, or of firstlings of your herds, or of your flock, nor any of your vows which you vow, nor your free will offerings, or offering of your hand. But you must eat them before the Lord your God in the place which the Lord your God shall choose. You and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant and the Levite who is inside your gates, and you shall rejoice before the Lord your God in all that you put your hands to. Take heed to yourself that you forsake not the Levite as long as you live upon the earth. And the Lord your God shall enlarge your border as he has promised you, and you shall say, I will eat meat, because your soul belongs to eat meat. You may eat meat to your heart's desire.
Okay, so full discussion the rabbis have, Chazal have. Okay, when you hear Rabbi say chazal, it's not a person. It stands for, it's an acronym that means the wise ones of blessed memory. Chachamim. Okay, so that's what it means. And this whole discussion, why do we meet? We should meet. And the dialogue is that God understands who we are. Okay? And we're taught that in the days to come, when Mashiach comes, may come in our time, we will all be vegetarian. Not vegan, by the way. Vegetarian. But until then, God realized people want to eat meat. So we have boundaries. You can eat this, you can't eat this. You can eat this, you can't eat this. So what's one of the boundaries? What's a meat you can eat? That you can eat, not cannot eat. Cow, and you cannot eat pork. What's a fish or creature in the waters that you can eat, as opposed to one you cannot? Salmon. And what can you not eat?
Lobster.
Catfish, shrimp. Why? That's exactly why. There's 3 types of animals in the world. And if you look at the laws of kashrut, how it's defined and how they describe it, there's scavengers, predators, and grazers. The idea is that you embody the energy of that which you eat. We don't want to prey upon people. We don't want to take their leftovers. We want to work as a tribe, as a community, and receive, like kabel, what God gives to us. So as a result, the animals that we're allowed to eat are all grazers. Go right through any animal. They'll go right down it, and you'll see. Scavengers aren't allowed. Predators aren't allowed. Grazers are. Deer is kosher, right? Lions, tigers, bears, and omais are not, right? Catfish is not. It's a scavenger. Shark is not. It's a predator. Make sense? So it's interesting. We talk about fins and scales, but that's really the simple distinction. You can go right through all the animals, and they will fit in that way: predator, scavenger, grazer. So we take great respect. If you're going to eat meat, you don't eat a scavenger, you don't eat a predator, you only eat a grazer. But the goal, and what will happen in the time to come, is we will all be vegetarian. How many of you have pets? Or have had pets? Okay. They have, it's not just like my coffee drink. They have souls, don't they? I remember when we got Rocky, Allison said, he doesn't really have feelings.
Oh, no.
So when we got him. Now she realizes he smiles, he pouts, he has feelings, she realizes all that. He has fun, but at first I was like, I don't know, he's just an animal. There's no such thing as just an animal, is there? So what?
Until you bog.
Well, that's what just
Then it's all
people think. It's just an animal.
Just an animal. It's not just an animal, and we treasure it. You know that better than most people because of what you do.
Yeah.
And each of them have their own souls, don't they? It's just veterinarian. Right? That's about definition of veterinarian, right? Okay? And my great example about Rocky is if I am stupid enough to be somewhere and they've got a dog and I pet the dog,
Oh, no.
I come home, and whenever I come home, he's wagging his tail. He jumps up on to Daddy. I have a dog. He jumps up, goes down, walks over to his bed, and kind of pouts.
He cheated on me.
Right? It's exactly. You were playing with another dog. You weren't playing with me. What are you? I felt like I had an affair. Someone they have this beautiful dog. They said, he's really kind. I said, I cannot touch him. If I do, my dog will get jealous. So they have their feelings, and we respect them. Okay, someone please read the next paragraph. Babylonian Talmud from bottom of C85. Very true. Yeah, Atlanta, not right-handed.
Babylonian Talmud?
Yeah.
I'll read that. Rabbi observed, suffering is precious. I don't know about that, but anyway. Thereupon he undertook to suffer likewise for 13 years, 6 through stones in the kidney, and 7 through scurvy. Others reversed it.
Some say it was 7 through stones and 6 through scurvy. Either way, it's stopped.
Oh, God. Okay, got it. Okay, Rabbi's house.
When we say rabbi, by the way, we're talking about Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, Judah the Prince, who was the person who assembled and edited the Mishnah. He's just called rabbi. He's that great. Okay, go on, please.
Rabbi House Stewart was wealthier than King Shapur, when he placed bongo
Fodder,
fodder for the beast, their cries could be heard for 3 miles. He aimed at casting it before them. Just then the rabbi entered his private closet, yet even so his voice, lifted in pain, was louder than theirs and was heard even by seafarers.
Okay, let's put that in simple
Yeah.
language. When he peed, it hurt so much he screamed louder than anybody. Okay? Go ahead, please.
Nevertheless, the
He was over. He
sufferings.
had to do it 3 times a night. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. The sufferings of, I guess it's Rabbi Elazar,
Yeah.
son of Rabbi Shimon, were superior in virtue to those of Rabbi, for whereas those of Rabbi Eleazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, came to him through love and departed in love, those of Rabbi came to him through a certain incident and departed likewise.
Okay, now let's read about what that incident was.
They came to him through a certain incident. What is it? A calf was being taken to the slaughter. When it broke away, hid his head under Rabbi's skirts, and lowered in terror. Go, said he, for this was thou created. Oh my goodness. Thereupon they said in heaven, since he has no pity, let us bring suffering upon him.
Rav Hayuda Hanasi is walking down, he's got his cloak, and this little calf comes running up because she realizes this holy great rabbi. She hides under his calf, saying, don't let them kill me. Go to the slaughterhouse. That's why you were created, is to go get slaughtered. So the decree in heaven went out that he was to suffer, which is why he had the scurvy and the kidney stones and all that. Okay? Because he had no pity. Remember, we are judged based upon who we are, not upon other people. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi is judged much more severely in good and bad than others because he should know better. Right? But there is a truth. Halachically, he's right. You're supposed to go slaughter. Go. He's right. But that doesn't show compassion, does it? Okay? Please continue. So that's what caused his suffering. Let's continue.
And departed likewise. How so? One day Rabbi's maidservant was sweeping the house, seeing some young weasel lying there. She made to sweep them away. Weasels. Let them be, said he to her. It is written, and his tender mercies are over all his works. Said they in heaven, since he is compassionate, let us be compassionate to him.
So if you saw somebody kicking an animal, you wouldn't want to be in business with him or in a relationship with him or trust him. Agreed?
Yeah.
Heaven does the same thing. And if you saw someone who sees a little doggy and you can tell the dog's thirsty, and where he is, he goes and gets a bowl of water and he gives it to the dog. You say, that's a man of compassion. I want to be around him, right? So does heaven. How do we treat others of less power, of less, I don't want to say importance, but of less, grandeur? How do we treat those who are weaker, like animals? Okay? It's a really good litmus test. When someone says that, one of my challenges is I am allergic to cats. Okay? I get around a cat, especially ones that have a lot of what's called dander. Is anybody here a cat person? Or are we all dog people? We're cat people.
I'm a dog person.
I get around cats and I start sneezing and hacking and coughing. There's a part of me, the cat comes near me and I want to take them and throw them in the microwave. I said, there's a part of me that my eyes are crying, my nose is running, but I don't do it. Instead, I hold the cat and I pet the cat and I embrace the cat. It's not the cat's fault. I got the allergy. Right? So I had a friend who raised Persians, which have about as bad a dander, I guess, as any cat that exists. Well, whatever it was, I would walk into the house and it would be like a sobbing. But the kitty comes up and I'm going to embrace the cat. The only reason I don't embrace every dog when I see him is because it's going to make my dog so upset and jealous. That is the only reason. Otherwise, I want to pet dogs. I want to give them love. They give so much, and they're so wonderful. So, in the same way, how do we treat? God looks at how we treat and says, you know what? That guy's a jerk. I'm not going to give him blessings because he's a jerk. That woman, she's very compassionate. I'm going to give her extra blessings. And just because we're getting extra blessings, we do not know. There's a story that's one of Allison's favorite stories. The story is that Akiva and Elijah are walking. Elijah's never dies, right? Akiva and Elijah are walking. At the end of the first day, they stay at the home of a very wealthy man. The wealthy man treats them very poorly. He says, you get stale bread, you get stale water. He says, you can go sleep in the barn with the pigs. They go sleep in the barn. They get up in the morning, and Elijah says, thank you for your hospitality. I saw there's a break between your walls and your wall, and I will send some workers tomorrow to come repair the break in your wall. They walk all day. The next night, they spend at the home of a very poor man and his wife. They have one possession, it's a cow. They live in a little shack. This couple gives them the bed. They sleep on the floor. They give them the best of what they have. In the morning, their only possession, the cow, is dead. They leave. And Akiva looks at Elijah. He says, where's the justice in this? Because that doesn't seem very just, does it? And Elijah says, don't try to understand what you are incapable of understanding. It's preordained that under the man's wall, there is a pot of gold. He will never get it now. He will never see it. So the poor people, it's preordained that the man's wife was to have died that night. But because they were kind, the cow died instead. We don't always see the blessings. But the point is that whether we see the blessings, whether we do not see the blessings, we are blessed when we are demonstrating to life that we love life. There is a tradition, it's not just in our tradition, but in many traditions, many spiritual traditions, that when you take a fruit off a tree, you say thank you.
Wow.
And that you either give some spit or a piece of your hair. I'm taking part of you, I'm giving part of me. Makes the issue of taking that fruit very special. And it's recognizing this is a gift. And I have an obligation and a blessing and a privilege to say thank you. Not just to shove it in my mouth. How many of you have a garden? Okay, when you have a garden, it can be tough work. And when that fruit shows up, it's great. It's really this great feeling. So how we treat nature is reflected in how nature is going to ultimately treat us. This is not climate change stuff. Just make that clear. This is about the fact that there's an olive tree there. We did a signing of a ketubah under an olive tree. Olive tree has all sorts of meaning in Judaism and all sorts of blessings. And so when they were done, you have a glass of wine in your ketubah signing. You don't finish it. They each had a sip. Pour the glass of wine on the olive tree to say thank you for blessing us. That's our way. We are tree huggers. Okay? Not in terms of Berkeley students hiking up at a tree and saying, banging a pan, but in terms of really being committed to the environment. Someone please continue reading about Perek Shira. Come on. While I look at them.
From the introduction to Perek Shira, Rabbi Yehuda, the prince, said, whoever is engrossed in Perek Shira in the world will merit to learn, teach, observe, perform, thank you, and fulfill, and his Torah learning will remain with him. He will be rescued from the evil inclination, from the evil occurrence, from jostling in the grave, from the judgment of Gehenna, and from the birth pangs of the Messiah. And he will live long and merit to live in the days of the Messiah unto the life of the world.
Okay, this is this book called Perek Shira, which means the Song of the Universe. Okay? Please continue, because I want to talk about it. I did not bring a copy, but we'll learn a little bit about Perek Shira.
This is the significance of Perek Shira, of which the sages said, whoever recites Perek Shira every day merits the world to come. For when a person recites it, he encompasses all the powers that are in the universe and which took part in the creation of man. He gives strength to the angels and ministers of all the creatures, so they can recite these songs. And through this strength provided by man, the heavenly angels and ministers draw their life and the influence that flows from them upon all the lower creatures. Nefesh HaChaim.
Please continue.
Every cog has its own function. When all 85 musicians mentioned in Perek Shira do what they were created to do, the result is the song of the universe. In this, we see the basic difference between man and all the other creatures. Man vacillates between the aspirations of the soul and the desires of his body. He can have great moments, but for most people they are few, and even for great people they are often interrupted.
Was I offensive when I wrote that? I was not trying to offend anyone. I'm sorry.
The sun is always bright, man is often dark. That is why man has no song in Perek Shira. The songs of Perek Shira are constant, but the creatures singing them cannot achieve their complete purpose without man. Man's virtue and noblest creation, his sin demeans it.
Okay, you can buy Perek Shira. Art School makes a beautiful publication of it in the hardcover leather, and it has beautiful photos of nature. So what is Perek Shira? Perek Shira are verses from the Tanakh, from the Bible. And it goes right through everything in life with finding a biblical verse corresponding. So it starts off talking about, as an example, the day and the night and the sun. It says the day is saying, day to day utters speech, and night to night relates knowledge. Okay? The moon is saying, he made the moon for the festivals, the sun knows the time of its coming. The stars are saying, only you are God. You made heaven, the heaven of heavens, with all their hosts, the earth and everything that is in it, the seas, everything that's in them. You preserve them all. All the hosts of heaven prostrate themselves before you. So the idea is that each of these are you to focus on these different aspects of creation. And it starts off with things like that. Then it goes into elements. Then it goes into the rocks, the different types of stones. Then it goes into the different types of plants, the shrubs, the trees of fruit, the trees for shade, the larger shrubs, the grasses, the grains. And each one has a verse that is a biblical verse, and that's what Perek Shira. It's not a long book, and it's very thin. It's very thin. And then it goes from there to all the plants. Then it goes into the animals. Okay, these swimming animals, the creepy crawly animals, the winged animals, the four-legged animals, all of the different animals. What's the one thing that's not in it is man. But they all have their song. And the idea is that if you read this twice a day, you have an automatic place in heaven. That's what we're talking.
So where do you get this?
You can buy it online. You can buy it online on Amazon. It's called Perek Shira. And it's a beautiful, have any of you seen it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful book. I brought it before. It's a beautiful book.
We never heard of it.
It's a beautiful, beautiful book. Art School has, you can buy it with just the text, but Art School has this really beautiful, so when it's talking about the Leviathan, it's got this beautiful photo of a whale breaching. Some guys over here, when it talks about the spider, it's like this beautiful spider with a web. And to understand how each of the animals are different. I was having a conversation with two people today, two women in Israel. One's in Israel, one's in Miami. We was talking, and they were saying, they can't find their husband. I said, well, the problem is you're hunting for your husband. Of course we are. I said, okay, you're hunting for your husband like a wolf. Okay, you're going out and hunting. Stop hunting like a wolf. Hunt like a spider. Create the space and have faith God will fill it. And they never go, oh my God, I never thought about that. Spiders hunts just as well and much more effectively based on faith. Okay? But it has all of these different things. And when you read it, it's not just going through the words, let the words go through you. When you read Perek Shira and you really let the words go through you, you really start to see the magnificence, truly the magnificence of God in every little thing. The lessons in every little thing. And it changes, we don't want a cigar? Okay. And it changes how we interact with the world. So it's this really holy, holy book. So holy, you saw what it says about the value of reading this. Yet, you've never heard of it. Stan's the only one who's ever heard of it before. Or I think you've heard of it before, Perek Shira. I think I've shown it to you, yeah.
I think you're just saying that because there's a doctor.
But you would love this book. You would love this book. It's so meaningful because it really is about seeing God in all these different little gifts. And we ignore it, right? We see a spider, or we see a snake, or we see a crow, we see whatever, and we don't think about, typically, most people don't think about, wait a minute, That's a gift from God. So each of them are verses from the Bible. It's fabulous. You guys will love it. It's really a wonderful, wonderful book and teaching. And if you let it go through you, you know, people are so concerned. I got to say my morning prayers. I got to say my afternoon prayers. How about if you just notice God everywhere instead of just saying words and acting like a schmuck? How about if instead you let God's presence into your heart? And that's what Perek Shira does. It's a beautiful book. Have you ever heard of it? Have you ever seen it? Beautiful. You see?
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the top one.
Oh, okay.
The top one. If you open up, it's beautiful, spectacular photos with it, and it's each animal only has a couple of lines. It's not like, you know, this is a heavy reading book. It's not like this is not a heavy read. It's just so beautiful to let it. And the idea being that, okay, you know, I've read this in the morning. Okay, but then I see a whatever animal, and instead of just saying, oh, that's a stray dog, or oh, that's a crow, I think about what I just read in Perek Shira in the morning. And that is a reflection of God. Then everything becomes a reflection of God, and your life changes. We as human beings change when we stop seeing that is only a tree. Let's you make it, right? And instead realize, wow, what an amazing creation of God. That while each leaf is separate and each branch is individual, they are yet at the same time connected. And how that manifests, how that reflects in my own hand. My thumb and my pinky are totally separate, but they're both part of my hand. My left hand and my right hand are totally separate, but they're both part of my body. It changes how you interact and view the world. It's seeing God in everything, and that's what Perek Shira helps us to do. Great story. Kid's very smart. He's 10 years old. He goes to college. He's so smart. The other kids in college make fun of him. They say, hey, you know what? You're so smart. I'll give you $1 if you can show us what God is. Kid responds, okay, I'll give you $10 if you can show me where God isn't. But how many of us view the world that way? And it's so important, because then you also know what you're protecting when you protect things. Then you know what you're fighting for. Then you know what's important. There's a man named Yogi Bhajan Khalsa. He brought Kundalini Yoga to this country in the 1960s or 70s. Literally, he was the head of the Sikhs, and he brought Kundalini Yoga to the country. And the story goes that Yogi Bhajan was taken with some people to a seafood restaurant, and he couldn't take it. He ran out. So why do you have to leave? He said, the lobsters that they're, the crabs that they're steaming, can't take their screams.
Oh my God.
Do we listen? Do we listen to the sound of the trees? Rabbi Nachman teaches before we even have our morning blessings, we're to go spend time outside in nature, listening to the song of the grasses and the plants and the animals. Before we even start with our morning blessings. It's Rabbi Nachman. Doesn't get much bigger than him. To see God in everything. This is what Judaism is. It's not, I'm davening and look at me and look how my tzitzit hang lower than your tzitzit. And we all know people like that, or have, don't we? Right? Why don't they just tuck them inside? Wait, look how holy I am. My tzitzit are falling out as they treat people and animals like dirt. Perek Shira reminds us, show me a place where God isn't, so we become conscious of it. And then the love and the awe and the appreciation changes, and it changes us. It changes us as human beings. It creates a different sense of love and awe and gratitude for everything. Please continue. Someone else could please continue reading, where it says from Sefer Hasidim, which is 12th century. Someone?
Never beat nor inflict pain upon any creature, beast, bird, or insect, nor throw stones at a dog or cat, nor kill flies or wasps.
Is it Jewish for a kid to take a magnifying glass and burn an insect?
No.
Or are we supposed to chastise them for that? We are to never inflict pain. When you cut, so okay, we kill an animal, right? Kill it. You're killing a calf, killing a cow for the meat. Does anyone know what's required to kill the cow to make it kosher? A cow is not necessarily, it's a kosher animal. But to make kashrut, it's not, you can't just kill it. You know what's involved?
Yeah, you have to restrain it.
Loudly.
You have to restrain it humanely. You have to have a very, very sharp knife. You have to hit the nut at a very certain point just below the larynx, and you have to do one fast, complete, deep cut that goes through cuts all the way to the bone, so that you cut through the trachea all the way to the other side, because the carotids are there. You have to hit the jugulars and the carotids in one
And
go.
and the top of the neck where the nerves are.
Didn't say that one.
You have to cut that through.
How do you do that? There's a bone there.
They're big.
Okay.
I'm not a shochet, but that's my
I
understanding.
know anatomy, but okay, that's fair. But anyway, but that's the idea.
It's not just, it's,
If you cut the carotids and the jugular, unconsciousness will come in 3 seconds. If you miss, it will be a mess.
and so it's got to be done as painless as can be, as compassionately as can be, right? And we don't just slaughter an animal. That's why we don't have typically Jewish hunting. Okay, because you can't do that. That is necessary because you don't want the animal terrified as he's being killed. There was a whole lawsuit. There was a kosher chicken company, kosher chicken factory. Do you know about this? You aware of this? This is I think Muncie. Big.
Agribusiness?
It was
I read something.
it was a big company that, and the way, and instead of cutting the chicken properly, they're like clubbing each of the chickens. That and saying they're kosher chicken. That's not kosher. Kosher just means fit, as opposed to treif, which means unfit. And you are not allowed to inflict pain. You don't inflict needless pain. We are to be compassionate. Okay, that is our job. Go ahead.
If someone shoots a deer, is that kosher?
In theory, it could be, but typically no.
Okay.
Typically no, we would not accept that. Now, how you slaughter the animal is rabbinic law. What kind of animal can be slaughtered is Torah law. Okay? So those are the laws. So it's really everything we do has to do with being conscious of what's going on. Please continue.
One question.
What about fishing?
Okay, well, hold on one second time.
The insect cockroaches. Why did God create cockroaches? Cucarachas. Can you answer?
It's a great lesson that you can survive anything if you're tough enough, right? Why God created things I do not know.
You have
Okay.
to learn to dance with them.
But there is a purpose we don't know. I don't necessarily know it, and I don't even remember if it's appearing sure.
Okay, next time.
But they are all. But there is, and even the cockroach is created by God, isn't it?
Somebody must like them. Spiders, I can understand why, because there's a belief that the webs bring, like, I know that there's an Indian, Native American where if you have a bruise, you get the spider webs and you put them, it's supposed to
It's medicinal.
medicinal. Okay.
Yeah, but that's I'm not a cockroach expert. Although I've been through numerous people that I would call them cockroaches. There was another question. Someone over here said something.
The
All right,
fishing,
all right.
the fishing.
So what about fishing? It is. You can only catch the fish the way you can catch it, and so it is kosher to go fishing with a hook, things like that, because you can't just slaughter it the same way.
I tell my kids, you're horrible fishing people because Jews aren't supposed to be good fishermen.
My boys never want to go fishing, so we just don't do it. But it is. But you got, And by the way, let me ask you a question. If all you so oysters are not kosher, but if you are on a desert island or an island and all there is to eat is oysters, are oysters kosher for you?
Yes.
Yes. We are to live by the words of the Torah, not die. What if your doctor says, and this is not hypothetical, this is common. Your doctor also knows Oriental medicine. You go to see your doctor says, you need shark fin soup. Sharks are not kosher. Is shark fin soup kosher for you?
Yes.
Yes. We are to live by Torah, not die by it. Please continue.
One's compassion should extend to all creation. One should neither destroy nor abuse any creature, for all of them were created with God's wisdom. One should not consciously uproot any plant or take the life of any animal unless it be for a purpose, and then one should see to it that their death be an easy, painless one.
Pretty simplistic, isn't it? Who wants to read the next page? The Music of a Holy Shepherd. This is by Rabbi Nachman. This is one of his specific teachings. Who wants to read Rabbi Nachman? Go, go.
Every shepherd has his own unique melody according to the herbs and grasses in the place where he pastures his sheep. Different animals eat different kinds of grasses. Shepherds do not always pasture their flocks in the same place. The shepherd's melody varies according to the place where he pastures his flocks and the herbs and grasses growing there. For every plant and every blade of grass has its own song. It is from the song of the grass that the shepherd gets his song.
Before we go any farther, who is the great shepherd in Jewish history?
King David.
David, Melech Israel. King David.
Yeah.
He's a shepherd.
Yeah.
And what else is he? A musician. Okay? This is the connection. Please continue.
This is why it says, and Ada gave birth to Yaval. He was the father of those who dwell in tents and amidst herbs. And the name of his brother was Yuval. He was the father of all who played the lyre and the pipe. For as soon as people took up tending herds, musical instruments came into the world. In the same way, King David, peace be upon him, who was skilled in music, was a shepherd. Indeed, we find that all the founding fathers had flocks.
And there's a midrash that Moses sees when he's shepherding for Yithro. He sees a little calf that's gone up the hill. So he goes to the little calf and he sees the calf is tired, puts the calf on his back and carries the calf back down to his mother. And God says, I know he can shepherd our people because of how he took care of the calf. Please continue.
From the corner of the earth we hear songs. Melodies and songs come from the corner of the earth. For it is from the herbs that grow in the earth that music is made. Indeed, it is the shepherd's musical skill that puts strength into herbs and grasses, providing the animals with their food. This is why it says, the blossoms have appeared in the land, the time of singing has come. This means that the plants and flowers grow in the land because of the relevant songs and melodies. It is through his songs and melodies that the shepherd puts strength into the herbs and grasses, providing pasture for the animals.
I remember being a kid. How many remember David Carradine's Kung Fu series?
Yes.
I remember that as a kid. And they made a sequel actually with him and his son. I remember the scene where he's singing to a plant and he's going like this around the plant. Someone says, what are you doing? And he says, I'm strengthening the plant. Plus, it seems to like it. When we sing to plants, they grow better. We know that. That is not hypothetical. That is not anything other than studies have demonstrated that. Music makes plants grow better. Or worse, depending on the music. But, it's really important to realize the correlation of music and song and plants. All the musical instruments come from that world. Please continue.
These songs and melodies are of benefit to the shepherd himself. Being constantly surrounded by animals, the shepherd could easily descend from the human level to that of an animal. But his songs and melodies save him from this. For song refines the soul, elevating the human being above animalistic tendencies. Music has the power to refine and elevate the human soul.
Bless you.
And this is why the shepherd's melodies save him from falling to the level of an animal.
It would be very easy to be just like an animal. That sheep's stripping that sheep. I might as well strip, and then that sheep, and that. I might as well be like the sheep. Or to be the tender, to be the shepherd, be the gardener, to play the flute or the lyre, and to let our souls be expressed in music. How many of you play a musical instrument?
The radio.
To play it is a way of releasing your soul. But we all can do, most of us can whistle, and all of us can sing.
No, that's not true.
No, it is true.
I'm perfect monotone. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so having a degree in music composition and theory is one of my 2 undergraduate degrees. I'm telling you, no one is ever out of tune. How many of you know much about music? In music, everything is about relationship. And if you really know music, you can tie any two notes. They sound very dissonant together by putting a third note that harmonizes. Doesn't matter. My mother would swear that she was tone deaf as well. The answer is no. You may not be able to sing with other people, okay? But everybody can sing. The Yoruba people of Nigeria say if you have a voice, you can sing. If you have feet, you can dance. And if you have a heartbeat, you can drum. So you are not monotone. You may not be singing with other people, maybe, but Eileen's song is Eileen's song. Your dance is your dance. And it's so important to understand that. So there's no reason for anyone to ever be ashamed of singing and singing loudly. There's someone who occasionally comes to services, and I love him, but God bless them. They sing beautifully by themselves, and they take passionate. They are so far out of tune. But it doesn't matter. We sing together, and that's why even if you have a bunch of people, many of whom don't have an ear, it will always sound right because the harmonies come together, and the harmonics and the undertones.
Thank you.
It's true. It's not. Okay, let's turn to page 5. So Rav Avraham Isaac Kook. Rav Kook is the human being that we need today. He's chief rabbi of Israel, when it was still Palestine, when it was called by the Brits Palestine. And to read his writings is beautiful. I recommend all of his writings. You can buy them easily online. Rav Kook said to, there are two groups of people that were going to Israel during the 19th and early 20th century. You had the people on the one hand who were basically socialists. They were young, they wanted to build the kibbutz, they wanted, that kind of person, right? And then you have the other guys who were going because it's the Holy Land, they want to be in the Holy Land. They're ultra-Orthodox, ultra-observant. Only two groups. And they did not get along. No different than today, is it? Right? And Cook went to the observant guys and he said, look, a human being needs a body and a soul. You are the soul. But without a human being, you are useless. They are the body. And he went to the kibbutzniks and he said, a human being, everyone needs a body and a soul. You are the body. They are the soul. Because of his knowledge, his wisdom, his personal power, he had the unique ability to bring those two disparate groups together. We desperately need another Rav Kook in Israel who could pull that off, with the charisma, the knowledge, and the wisdom to pull that off. As far as I know, we don't have anyone like that. We got a bunch of guys who are the exact opposite, right? We got a bunch of guys who are, we're Haredi, we're Orthodox, we know you're not even Jews. This is not okay. And so Kook was really this magnificent human being. His writings are fabulous. They're similar, but a little bit more. They're not as airy-fairy, not as loving and gentle as Heschel's, but they're in the same tone. And it's just amazing writings. Please, someone start reading at the top of page 5. Sorry.
In the future, the abundance of enlightenment will spread and penetrate even the animals. The gift offering of vegetation that will be brought as sacrifices will be as acceptable as the sacrifices of ancient days.
Okay, we are not meant to keep doing sacrifices. And Cook phrase well. Please continue about speaking the language of animals and plants.
According to the tradition, certain outstanding saints and sages attained such exalted levels of perception that they could understand not only the meaning of the outward form and the structure of natural phenomena, such as plants and animals, but their very languages. Foremost amongst those credited with such knowledge was King Solomon, as alluded to in the verse, and he spoke of trees from the cedar in Lebanon down to the hyssop that grows in the wall. He spoke also of beasts and birds, of creeping things and fishes, 1 Kings 5:13. Of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, 1st century CE, the Talmud relates Hillel the elder had 80 disciples. The greatest of all of them was Rabbi Yonatan ben Uziel. The smallest of all of them was Rabbanan Yochanan ben Sakai.
We're in Israel.
They
In
said of
Tiberias, you can go in Tiberias and go to his tomb. What?
They said of him that he had comprehensive knowledge of Mishneh, Talmud, law, exposition, logical inference, astronomy, mathematics, incantations of angels, the languages of the demons, the languages of trees, and the proverbs of launderers and foxes.
Pretty serious. What?
Rabbi Leib of Polynoye had a powerful yearning to understand the language of the animals, birds, and trees. He decided to travel to the Baal Shem Tov, to ask him to teach him this wisdom. When he arrived, there were many people in the Baal Shem Tov's house, and the latter paid no attention to him. It was a long time before he even greeted him, and when he finally did, it was with great casualness.
Sorry.
Rabbi Leib was quite surprised, as the Baal Shem Tov usually showed him great affection, since he was one of his closest students. However, Rabbi Leib did not pay much attention because of his great desire to learn this wisdom. He waited for the right time to broach the subject.
So before we continue that story, I've been a member of the Magic Castle for 41 years. Okay? And I cannot tell you how many people have said, how do you do that trick? How is that trick done? My answer is very well, thank you. Or my other answer is, can you keep a secret? So can I. The answer is, why do you want to know is really the question. If you want to know because you just want to know what how to do the magic trick, not interested. If you want to know so you can learn to do it and share it with other people, then I'll teach you. Right? Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
If it's just so I can say, look, I know it's behind this, up his sleeve or up his something. If you know that, right? I'm not interested. If it's so that you can actually do something and make other people smile, of course I teach you. Right? That's pretty true for anyone, anything that you teach in life, isn't it? Someone wants to know, how do you do your business? Are they asking because they just want to, be able to say they know, or are they asking because they want to do it? You're going to treat those two people differently, right? Rabbi Leib is saying, I want to know the language of the animals, and I want to be able to understand it. Right? But it's not saying that he wants to know because he wants to understand their wisdom so he can convey it to other people. Right? It's just he wants to know. Right? So should he learn? What do you think?
No.
It's going to be casting pearls before swine, isn't it? Please continue reading.
One day, the Baal Shem Tov had to go on a journey and asked Rabbi Leib to come with him. Rabbi Leib was delighted. He was sure that on the way that the Baal Shem Tov would accede to his request. As they traveled in the carriage, the Baal Shem Tov said to Rabbi Leib, I know that the main reason you came to me was to learn the conversation of animals and birds, and now I will teach you. From the face of the man is in the supernal chariot, the Merkabah.
This is described in the first chapter of the book of Ezekiel. It's Maaseh Merkabah. There are two basic understandings in terms of Jewish mysticism, two schools. Maaseh Bereshis, which means the workings of creation. How and why did God create the world? Maaseh Merkabah, how and why does God sustain the world? Maaseh Bereshit, the roots of it are found in the book of Genesis. Maaseh Merkabah, the roots of it are found, and our first understanding is in the book of Ezekiel. Okay, the Merkabah, the chariot, is God's holy chariot, and understanding its construction and how it's used and what it does can open up all sorts of gateways. Okay, that's what he's talking about. Please continue.
Vitality is drawn down to man in this lowly world. From the face of the ox, vitality comes down by downward chains of causes and effects.
Let me just interrupt. In the Merkabah, the angels have four faces. Okay, so they have different faces. Go on.
Downward chain of causes and effects from the level to the level with contraction after contraction to all the animals, behemoth. In the lower world, from the face of the lion, vitality is drawn to all the wild animals, hayot. And from the face of the eagle, vitality is drawn to all the birds in the lower world. This is the secret of the Perek Shirah, literally chapter of song, a collection of biblical verses put into the mouths of various different species of trees, plants, animals, birds, and other natural phenomena. The formula of words expressed by the various forms in the supreme chariot determines the vitality that comes down into the lower world to the various species of animals and birds and so on. This is the general principle, but there are awesome and wondrous secrets in all the details.
The idea is that from this supernal chariot, the life force is given to these animals, and if you can track that back and you can understand and experience what's going on in the Merkavah, then it becomes easy to understand what the animal is saying. Does that make sense to everyone? Going back to the root so that you can understand it here. But why? It's still the question. What do you want to know for? Right? Okay, please continue. So Baal Shem Tov starting to explain this, isn't he? He's trying to tell them, this is how you're going to understand the language. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
And they see that when they try to remember when they talk about with the angels, with the four faces. It's an eagle, lion. What are the four?
An ox and
Ox.
it's not a human. Because it's a different example in Isaiah. I don't want to misspeak. There's four faces.
It just made me think about it. Okay. Baal Shem Tov explained the entire subject until Rabbi Leib had a thorough understanding. The Baal Shem Tov explained many relevant passages in the Zohar and Tikkuni Zohar. With one ear, Rabbi Leib listens to the words of the Baal Shem Tov, and while the other, he listened to what the birds and animals were saying. The Baal Shem Tov carried on teaching him until
it's a man. It's a man. That's why it's a man. It's a man, lion, eagle, and ox.
Oh, yeah. The Baal Shem Tov carried on teaching him until they approached the town. Then he said to Rabbi Leib, "Have you understood everything?" "Yes," replied Rabbi Leib. The Baal Shem Tov passed.
Was he really understanding? He was only listening with one ear. Could he really have understood it? If you're only listening with one ear, how well are you really understanding it? He was so busy with what he was hearing, he wasn't listening to the teaching, which was coming in this ear. He was paying attention to, wow, that bird's saying this. Oh, wow, that animal's saying this. What should he have been doing if it was really important to him to learn how to do it? Should he have been listening to the animals that time or listening to his teacher?
Teacher.
Okay. But he only had one ear on his teacher. So go on.
Baal Shem Tov passed his hand over Rabbi Leib's face, and Rabbi Leib promptly forgot all the secrets which the Baal Shem Tov had revealed to him. All Rabbi Leib could remember was the Baal Shem Tov's opening words about the supernal chariot. The Baal Shem Tov smiled and said, "If you had a need for this wisdom in order to serve God, I myself would have been in a hurry to teach you. I only told you what I did in order to satisfy your thirst, and you forgot it all because you have no need for it. Serve God with simplicity."
Pretty beautiful, isn't it? This is only in the last month. I am 95% sure that our border collie Rocky is trying to speak English.
Wow, I believe it.
I am convinced, because all of a sudden I'll say, "Rocky, how are you feeling?" And all of a sudden it's not his bark, it's not a growl, it's like the snorting weird sound, and then he looks at me like, "Stupid, why don't you understand me?" And it's happened half a dozen times in the last month, so I'm thinking, okay, Rocky's trying to teach me how to live, but I don't need to listen. Do we need to know what it is? Are we using it to serve God? What we need to know is, how do we treat animals? How do we treat plants? What we need to know is, why do we treat them that way? What we need to be able to do is to see that a tree gave us all this so that we can have cover. To support the raccoons, which have been very kind.
Yeah,
they're not peeing on
I
me
was
today.
thinking that.
Those who don't know what I'm talking about. And we have this on film. Thank you, Orlando, which my boys have put in slow motion on a loop.
I remember
Of me being here, and there's this snuffling going on, and all of a sudden I'm drenched with liquid because the raccoons peed on me.
You were becoming one with the raccoon.
The raccoon was marking his territory, right? But look at this is a gift from the tree.
Isn't the raccoon named Rocky also?
Oh, it was Rocky. Okay, I was so, but this like all of a sudden, this raccoon clearly had not peed in 17 days, and didn't pee in a stream. Just went. Whoop! And the boys took that. Thank you, Orlando, for giving that to them. And they took that and they made it into a little loop in slow motion of Daddy being peed on.
We're going
They
to play
thought that
that
was so
in the high
cute.
holidays.
That'd be good.
So yeah, but this is a gift. The chairs you're sitting on, the tables that we're using, are a gift. There was once a tree, and it lived, and then it was cut down, and it was made into wood, and it is now this table. Its entire existence is manifest in this table. The years that it grew were all to have this table to serve each of you, and similar to that table. Do we think about that very often?
No.
When we do, it all of a sudden, wow, everything is really miraculous. Everything's a gift. That's what the Tu B'Shvat Seder is about, is recognizing the amazing gifts if we bother to spend the time and pay attention. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi is right. Go. You were born so you could be slaughtered. It's true. The tree was grown so it could have this wood. See? But he also was punished for it because it didn't show compassion. And he was right to say, don't hurt the little weasels. Because that too showed compassion and showed about caring of the animals. Do we walk through the world and leave a mess, or do we walk through the world and dance with it? Perek Shira is such a powerful book if you really let each verse go through you. Plants and the animals, that's why Rabbi Nachman said go out to the fields. The plants and the animals have so many teachings if we just listen. If we just look. And that's how Judaism relates to nature.
Okay, you answered my question. Why God created the cucaracha? Because the song.
Great freaking dance, it's my Trump dance. Or maybe just to show us how to survive.
Yeah.
Today reminded me of when we meet in the park in the summertime, and you always point out the grass and the rabbits and the flowers.
You think that's by accident?
Well, I just those memories came back to me.
It's the essence of Judaism. That's why I love davening outside. I grew up summers going to Camp S. Kramer and Giggling Hilltop Camp. And if you know those camps, okay, they're in Malibu. They weren't in Malibu. They were building. And the chapel at S. Kramer is this big, beautiful grove, surrounded by trees. You can only go in through two pathways, and you're surrounded by trees above you, around you. It's spectacular. Steve Brewer, God bless him, was really an amazing, amazing teacher. Who's the director of the camps. And Steve would say, look, if you don't feel like praying, don't. Count how many colors of green on a tree. And then explain it to yourself. How did all those colors come up? We could not imagine that many colors. And yet God just places that for us. His point being, if saying Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu doesn't mean anything, fine. Look at the tree. But really, look at the tree. Smoking cigars, right? This is a gift of a plant, isn't it? Right? This cigar has the energy of dozens, if not hundreds, of people. There were people who planted the seeds, people who cared for the seeds, people who grew the bush, okay, the tobacco plant, people who harvested the leaves, people who cut the leaves, people who then rolled the leaves, people who, once it was rolled, made sure to put the tip on, people who then took that and they put it in different boxes. People who shipped it from there in Honduras or Nicaragua, wherever it may be, to here. Not to Los Angeles, but to a landing port. People took it from there to the store, people from the store to our homes. So when you're lighting a cigar, Grandpa Wallace Black Elk used to say that Lakota gave the people tobacco, they just never taught them how to smoke it right. It's a prayer. Does anyone ever notice when I light a cigar, I say a prayer every time? Blessed are you, Lord of God, from all things are created. It's a gift, right? If you understand it as such and see God in it. Perek Shira, Tu B'Shvat, Judaism is about recognizing God in every other place. Not man, but all the other places. You know, it's there's a line that's used, I think it's Hindu originally, but the line Namaste. How many of you have heard Namaste? Which literally means the divinity inside of me recognizes the divinity inside of you. Well, that's relatively easy. I can see God in every person. Some people I want to see God in them from a distance. Okay. Seeing God in, but our tradition is not just seeing God in every person, but in every living thing. And that's kind of been lost in Judaism, hasn't it? And that's really sad to me. It's one of the reasons I believe, you know, the two most successful things for keeping Jewish kids in Judaism are birthright, trips to Israel, and Jewish camps. How many went to a Jewish camp of some sort? Changes you. Changes you. And to understand that that's, you're experiencing God in a different way, you're walking on the earth and feeling it differently. That's our tradition, and we've lost it most of the time, haven't we? This is the time to be conscious of it. Most, I don't want to say all, it's not true for all, but the vast majority of our holidays are also agricultural holidays. The other name for Passover is Chag HaAviv. Okay? It is a festival of gathering. It's a festival of grains. Shavuot, all these things are also agricultural holidays, and we are an agricultural people. And we need to recognize that, I think, a little bit more. Because when we do, life becomes more beautiful. And that's really the bottom line. So, if nothing else, next time you pick a fruit or flower, say thank you to the plant. Nothing else. And watch how your consciousness changes the more you do that. When we can see God in all of the places of nature, the more we can do that, the more our life has meaning, the more beautiful it is, the more healing it is. And the more that we're doing what we're supposed to do, which we talked about at the very beginning, which is be gardeners of this creation. I hope this was fun. Was this new information for some people?
Yes.
So I hope this was fun and good. We have Tu B'Shvat a week from Sunday. We have Shabbat. I don't even know. I have to ask Orlando. Every Saturday. On this.
We have Shabbat every Saturday, right?
We will have, as soon as Harvey is done working it out, we will have details for the Israel trip. And I hope this helps a little bit. So thank you for doing this. Thank you to Barry for sponsoring the cigars again tonight. Very, very kind of him. And hopefully we'll take it from there. Take it home. You have quotes to do. And I can't recommend highly enough. Go on Amazon, buy Perek Shira. It's a really good book.
How many people already did that?
I did.
You already
Did it
did
while
online.
we're